Spring, summer, autumn, winter. We experience them every year, like clockwork. But if you ask most people why we have seasons, they'll tell you it's because Earth gets closer to the sun in the summer and farther away in the winter. It makes sense, but it is completely 100% wrong. In fact, when the Northern Hemisphere is freezing in the dead of winter, Earth is actually at its closest point to the sun. The real reason? It all comes down to a cosmic accident billions of years ago that left our planet knocked off balance, a magic angle of 23.5 degrees. Today in the Fact Vault, we are breaking down the mechanics of our solar system to show you exactly how this tilt controls everything, from the food we grow to the extreme weather we survive. Let's dive in. To understand the tilt, we first have to bust the biggest myth in astronomy, the distance illusion. Earth's orbit around the sun isn't a perfect circle, it's an ellipse. This means there is a point where we are closest to the sun, called perihelion, and a point where we are farthest away, called aphelion. Earth reaches perihelion, its closest point, in early January. If distance dictated the seasons, January should be the hottest month of the year globally. But if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, January requires heavy coats and snow shovels. Clearly, distance isn't running the show. The difference in solar energy between our closest and farthest points is only about 7%, which isn't nearly enough to cause the drastic temperature swings between a freezing winter and a boiling summer. Enter the axial tilt. Earth doesn't sit straight up and down relative to its orbit. It leans at an angle of exactly 23.44 degrees. But why does leaning to the side change the temperature? Think of a flashlight. If you shine it straight at a wall, the circle of light is small, incredibly bright, and concentrated. All that energy is packed into one tight spot. Now tilt the flashlight so the beam hits the wall at an angle. The same amount of light is now spread over a much larger area. It's stretched out, and because of that, it's dimmer and weaker in any single spot. This is exactly what happens to sunlight hitting the Earth. When the Northern Hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, the solar energy hits the ground directly. The light is concentrated. The ground heats up fast. This is summer. At the exact same time, the Southern Hemisphere is tilted away. The sunlight hitting Australia or South America strikes at a steep angle, spreading the energy out, making it weaker and colder. This is their winter. The crucial thing to remember is that Earth's tilt is fixed. It always points in the same direction, towards the North Star Polaris, as it travels its yearly path around the sun. In June, Earth is in a position where the North Pole leans directly toward the sun. We call this the summer solstice. The days are long, the sun is high in the sky, and the Northern Hemisphere gets baked. 6 months later, Earth has traveled to the exact opposite side of the sun. The tilt hasn't changed, but now, because of Earth's new position, the North Pole is leaning away from the sun. Now, the Southern Hemisphere gets the direct hit of energy, enjoying their summer, while the North freezes. Twice a year in March and September, Earth reaches a halfway point. At these positions, the tilt is sideways to the sun. Both halves of the planet receive an equal share of sunlight. We call these the equinoxes, a Latin word meaning equal night. So what would happen if we didn't have this tilt? What if Earth sat perfectly straight up and down at 0 degrees? The answer is, life as we know it would drastically change. There would be no seasons. Every day would have exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness everywhere on Earth. The equator would be scorched, likely making it uninhabitable. Meanwhile, the higher latitudes would be locked in a permanent, freezing twilight. Human civilization, agriculture, and animal migration are all entirely dependent on the rhythmic pulse of the seasons caused by that 23.5-degree lean. A violent collision over 4 billion years ago gave Earth its tilt, and in doing so, it gave us the changing of the leaves, the summer rains, and the winter snows. It turns out our planet isn't perfect. It's off balance, and that imperfection is exactly what makes life here so incredible. If you found this cosmic breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the Fact Vault. Drop a comment below. What's your favorite season, and did you use to believe the distance myth? Until next time, keep questioning the universe, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.